Hello, hello. Welcome to A VO's Journey. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things that I seem to step on. It's Tuesday. That's right. It is Tuesday, April 21st. I mean, we are almost done with April, and it absolutely blows my mind. And it blows my mind that we are all inside. We're all just still stuck inside. I think I've been inside for like 6 or 7 weeks now. I think I've only went out in like 3 or 4 times in that amount of time. So it is absolutely crazy, but I'm very blessed and thankful that I'm so busy here at the house. So I want to thank you and welcome joining us from Instagram, from YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. It's great to have you. We have a great show today. I'm going to be talking about the 80-20 rule and how it applies to voiceover and how it can help you actually grow your business. I think, for me, this has always really been a mind-blowing stat, okay? And I really think that it's so true, and its simplicity, but the reality of it is so fascinating. So just a little context about it. An Italian... I don't think he was a philosopher. An economist. An Italian economist stated that he noticed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by 20% of the population. And it began this rule called the 80-20 rule. And then it, come to find out, this rule applies to all sorts of things, right? Like, 80% of the wealth is held by 20% of the people, 80% of a business's money or revenue comes from 20% of its clients. It can go on and on about this 80-20 rule. It really is quite fascinating. But, I think that the idea behind it for me, though, also and a voiceover artist is, I'll be straight up with you. I'm like a lazy person. And now I know people will say, hey, well, you put out a lot of stuff and you're not lazy, but I feel like I am, because I think I would rather be doing a little bit work, you know what I mean, instead of doing a lot of work like most of us. I'm going to be honest with you. So, I'm always trying to figure out the best leverage that I can do. And so when we apply this 80-20 rule, the idea is, what is 20%? All right. Or what is the smallest amount within that 20% that we can do as voiceover artists and business owners to grow our business and to make that 80% of the revenue? Right? Because the reality is, again, 80% of what we make is really going to come from 20% of the work we do. So then there's 80% of the work we're doing that doesn't affect 80% of the revenue that's coming in. So it's miscellaneous stuff that we could do away with. All right. Then there's another kind of cool rule, and it's the 64-4 rule. And basically, if you take 80 of 80% and 20 of 20%, you get 64-4. So meaning that, and this actually holds true for wealth too, right? So the top 4% control 64% of the wealth in the world, of course, and then the top 20% control 80%. And you go on down the line by that, right? So if you look at it from that standpoint, if you got down to even being more lazier than doing 20% of the work, okay, it would be more interesting to do 4% of the work that brings in 64% of your revenue, okay, as a business owner, as a voiceover artist, business owner. So if we like to think in these ideas, right, well, what is it that is going to change that for us? What can we do? What is the most thing that we could leverage in that 4%? And the answer, of course, I believe, is marketing. Marketing is by far the most leverage that we can apply. And let's be honest, that's a secret of the wealthy, right, is using leverage. Okay, because as long as you and I trade time for money, You know what I mean? And these are things that people have talked about, and we read books on them, and all sorts of things about trading time for money. Okay, and what happens is as we know, as a voiceover artist, especially like you're narrating an audiobook, if you narrate an audiobook and it's an hour, no matter how fast you read it, it's still going to come out to an hour. And actually for us, it's more like, 2 to 3 hours just to read the hour. And then it takes us longer to edit it afterwards, right? But there is no, this is an hour long, but I'm going to do it in 5 minutes. There is none of that. We can't do that, right? It's not physically possible. So, when we're talking about leverage, what is it that we can actually leverage that will give us the highest amount of return, right? That doing 4% of the work to get 64% of the revenue coming in, or 20% to get 80%. And that is marketing. So in order to use marketing, you got to have a marketing plan. And I would venture, and I had to say this, and it's out of kindness, but I've worked with a lot of voiceover actors now, as I do voiceover coaching, I do reviews, I have different groups. And one thing I notice is most of them, and I would say the majority of them, again, and this plays into these stats, right? That 20% of the people, get 80% of the wealth, and 4% at 64%. Most people don't have a marketing plan. And most people don't have a simple marketing plan. All right, one that's easy. Now, I've talked about in the past, it's been a while since I brought up the idea of like a one-page marketing plan. All right, and there's some books that have been written about it recently again, which jogged my memory about this. But again, I'm noticing that so many of us don't actually have a written out plan. If you stop and think about it, I mean, honestly, like everyone follows a plan, right? Like there's treatment plans, right? Doctors have treatment plans. There is airplanes, right? When you fly somewhere, there's a flight plan. We wouldn't think about what if you went and got into a plane and the pilot was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna wing it today and see where we end up." You're like, "What?" You know what I mean? Or same with the doctor. We're not gonna follow the treatment plan. We're just gonna throw a bunch of things at you, see what happens. We'll hopefully it'll be all right. I mean, we'd be like getting out of there faster than we could keep our hat on. I mean, the reality is we inherently expect professionals, top-notch businesses to have a plan. So we need to have a plan. And we need to have a simple plan. So going back to that 20% down to 4%. So if we think about 20% gets 80%, right? Well, 4% can get 64% of wealth. Then that makes the idea that 4%, if we focused on that 4% and got rid of the 96%, or at least tabled that for most of the time and focused on those 4% of marketing, those activities that we put down in a simple roadmap, right? Like a one-page roadmap, like this is what every single week I'm going to do this, this, and this. Okay. And these things are shown or proven through research that I've done that have the greatest results in bringing me customers or bringing me leads. I am going to do that. I'm not going to get sidetracked by the 96% of other things that I have to do. I've got to focus on the 4%. And a lot of times, even, look, me included, it's so easy to get distracted by so many things, especially by the work. So the rub is, right, when you do these things and you have all this business start coming in, managing that 4%, okay, can be like, so here's the thing. It's like, again, a peak, right? You go up, you do all of this work down here, okay? You do all this marketing work, you work your butt off, work starts to come in, you build it over time, it's coming. All of a sudden, you realize you're only one person, there's only so much you can do, so the work comes up here, you're doing as much work as you can, but because of that, all the marketing work that you're doing so much stops. So what happens is it peaks and then it starts to come back down because you can't keep feeding the business because you're over here trying to make sure all of the work that you've got is fulfilled. That's where a simple 4% idea comes in. We put a spotlight on what the best that 4% is, what the most money-making marketing tactics are, right? And we go after them. We go after them on a consistent basis. Now, I can tell you from personal experience, okay, the number one marketing activity for me has always been making sure that I put out information that educates people. Educates people whether what I'm doing right now, whether educates people on how to, do marketing, how to run businesses, how to grow businesses, how to, use our services. Okay, that's one way that I put out information as much as I can, and it really does maximize leverage. Because if you look at a video or a podcast or something that you put out, think about it this way. And I want to compare this, and I want you guys to really listen to this, because I want you to compare about a video or a sample. Let's talk about samples and auditions. I'm big about this, but again, this is the idea that 4%, putting out a sample, all right, whether you put it out on a social media page, maybe you said, you know what, I'm going to make a sample this week, and I'm going to post it 3 different times on Twitter. Because you post a sample once, you're only going to have a few people that'll see it. So you can post it multiple times. By the way, you can repost your posts, and you're not going to bother anybody, because the likelihood is new people are going to see it the next time you post it and the next time you post it, because they didn't see it before. Because if you have like 1,000 followers on Twitter, not all, only a few of them, less than 100 will even come up in their feed. Okay, so you got to keep posting stuff, for people to see. So anyways, let's take a sample as opposed to an audition with this 4% idea in our mind. If I audition for someone, if I'm lucky, because you could probably say, again, that, we use this 80-20 rule, that probably only 20% of the auditions, okay, are 20% of the auditions are getting 80% of the work. So that means 80% of the auditions are not being listened to, and that's true. Okay, we all know that's true. So let's say you audition though, and your whole goal is to have one person listen to you. Okay, plus you're going against all these other people. Well, that seems like a very, and let's be honest, it's an outdated way to get business. And it's a very cumbersome way to get business. But if you create a sample, if you create a video, a podcast, a post, something that can continue to live on after you have done it. Because let's be honest, when you audition, it just goes away. It disappears forever. No one ever sees it again. Once that job is, it's just gone. It's for your time is gone. Right? Time is the ultimate gift here, right? We can always make more money, but we can never get back time. So time is always the ultimate thing that we are trying to get back and to make. Let's be honest, right? Money is just a way to get more time. The more money we have could technically buy us more time. So the idea with making samples or putting stuff out there and leveraging this 4% idea is that a sample, a video, a podcast, this content can live on and be seen by multiple people over and over and over again, and you've only done it once. Whereas an audition, you do it once, and maybe 20% of the time it's even seen. And you'll be lucky at what's the percentage of that 20% that you're actually going to get through it, right? Because then you continue this 80-20 rule, which is ridiculously accurate. All I have to say is all you people on voices.com or voice123, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? So leveraging auditions is nearly impossible because you can only do so many auditions physically a day. But if I do a sample and I use all of these different areas, I use social media, I use websites that are marketing themselves, I use email, I can use whatever, I can leverage my time, that marketing tactic of making a sample, right? Like a 30-second sample of me making up a voiceover, putting some music to the background. I can then leverage that like crazy. I mean, that was the original idea of a demo, right? To be able to leverage that minute to a minute and a half and send it everywhere. I mean, it was incredible leverage. But now, even that has we're going beyond that, and we're getting to the point where now people want even more. We can leverage even more. We can leverage samples because attention spans are even less than that. So 15 seconds, 30 seconds, these short video segments, okay, they work really well. These YouTube videos, you know, it's funny. When I started on YouTube, it wasn't that long ago. Literally, I mean, it was really less than a year ago. It was about maybe a year, maybe less than a year. I never got started on YouTube because I honestly thought, what would be the point? YouTube has been around for so long. There's so many established people on YouTube. No one can get on YouTube right now and start. I really thought that, and it stopped me from, you know, being a part of YouTube for a long time. All right, until I just started one day, and I was like, just like my podcast, I just started, and you know, I'm not by far any, you know, influencer on YouTube, but YouTube has played such a wonderful and vital role in helping people find me. From every video that I put out, you know, one of the best watch videos that I have is a video that I did on ACX how to format your book for ACX. That has thousands and thousands and thousands of views, and I did that a long time ago. I mean, it was last year. And it's been almost a year since I did that video, and it gets, you know, so many views every week. And if someone sees that, it brings them to me. I've not done it in a year. I don't keep up with the video. I don't do anything with it. It brings business. Then those people get to find me because then they see that. They see the channel. They see everything else. One thing leads to another. People search with me. They find me on the internet. All the things that I put out help me leverage the time. Okay? Because whereas one time for an audition, one time even for a phone call. Now, don't get me wrong. I do phone calls. I have someone who does phone calls for me. Again, it's me trying to leverage my time. All right? That's not a thing that's bad. But again, is that the 4% of time, right? That's going, like, is that 4% of my time, my best efforts? Personally, we're talking about personally. What could I do with what is the top 4% I could do? Because I know that's going to bring in that 64% of revenue. Okay? Or the 20%. And let's say the rest of the time you're sitting on the couch eating Doritos. Well, that's great. Well, maybe you don't want to sit on the couch and eat Doritos. Well, get up and do some more work so you can get some more of that. But again, the idea here behind all of this video today is you got to have a plan. A simple plan. A one-page marketing plan. Just to start. A one-page marketing plan. And this plan should be very limited to the top 3 things that you should do every single day, that you've researched, that you found out is the best way to leverage your time. Now, I've put out what I think best leverages time, right? Putting out content on social media. That content can be knowledge content, meaning you're teaching someone, or it's entertainment, or both. Okay? The other thing is samples. We just talked about it. Putting out your samples, you doing work, okay? Leveraging that sample, that file, that MP3 file, that is a massive, they're like soldiers for you, right? I mean, the more soldiers you have, okay, out there fighting for you, the more, or out searching for you, out trying to sell for you, the more you're going to get, all right? And then I really do like the idea of, using a podcast, some sort of video content, some sort of communication where I can physically communicate with people on a larger scale, to where I leverage a platform, okay, to do that. Now, you can either do that, or what I love to do too, and this is a secondary thing, is that I love to leverage OPM, other people's money. So, and other people's time, OPM and OPT. So basically what I mean by that is, you've heard me talk about putting yourself on multiple websites. That is key because sites like Fiverr, sites like Upwork, sites like Voquin, sites like Voiver, sites like People Per Hour, and these are free sites, right? And these sites that spend tons and tons of money to market, to bring people to us, okay? That is a powerful leverage tool because all you have to do is go onto that site, fill out your profile. Now, do your very best to upkeep it, okay? And now, again, you know me. I love Fiverr, ACX. It's been my thing. I work a lot. I have courses on it. I teach on it. I do lots of stuff to help people with it. But the central premise is the same. You get onto those sites. You leverage those sites and how much millions and hundreds of millions of dollars those sites are spending to bring traffic. Okay, because none of us are gonna beat them in how much money they're spending because they're leveraging all of us. See, it's a leverage game. You've got to always think about leverage. That's being a business owner, not being an employee. So when you're working in your business, remember you are the business owner. Now, most of us have only one person in our business, so we are the owner / employee / manager. So we're all of these things. But don't forget to be the business owner. Most of us forget that. Don't ever forget that you're the business owner, which means your job is to figure out how to leverage your time. Okay? All right, I hope that this helps out. I hope this got you thinking today. I hope this got you wanting to go out there and create a one-page marketing plan that you can, follow daily and weekly, okay, and that you can measure, right? Because you want to put things down that you can measure. Are you on track? And again, think about the idea that I don't need a plan, I'll just wing it. Well, remember what I said about, every person, every business that we know, that we remember, that we think of, that is, branded and built into our societies, doctors, medicine, fly, anything that, it all takes a plan. All of these people, all these businesses have a plan. And we expect them to follow a plan. So we should have a plan too. All right. Any questions? If you have any questions or anything, please go ahead and feel free to post them. I want to thank you guys again for watching and listening today. Thank you, everybody on Instagram. We got lots of people. We got Brian. What's up, Brian? Brian the man. We got Microphone Rocky. We've got, let's see, Rivenern. Sorry if I don't say that right. Ari, what's up? We got Loiben. We've got Willville. What's up? We got Carlos. And we got Patrick. It's good to have you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We got Abed. What's up? From YouTube, we got Paul from Facebook. Paul, what's up? I saw you as you were a Fiverr, preferred Fiverr person or whatever. So nice on that, Paul. We got Lazarus. Good morning, Lazarus. What's up? We got all video for voiceover. Please talk about other gig such as social media market. I'm internet. Thank you. Well, I appreciate that. And actually, Ben, if you think about it, everything I talked about here is for business in general. And especially for internet businesses or internet marketing, social media marketing. It is all about leverage. That's why as voiceover artists, and whether you're a voiceover artist or not, we are business owners. And when we think about business, our job, again, is to leverage our time the most effectively so that 4% of our efforts bring in 64% of the revenue. So that 4%, and the best way to leverage that is through marketing. All right, so Steve says 4% is an awesome concept. Thank you. It is not mine, Steve, actually. It is from a book that I am reading currently. That book is called, you guys should go check it out, actually. What is the book called? I'll have to find the book title for you, but it's an amazing book, and it talks a lot about that, and we've talked about the 80-20 rule before, but the way this book lays it out is pretty awesome, and I like it so far. I'm feeling it and how it applies to us as voiceover artists. So thank you, Steve. Katya, what's up? Good to have you. Zabari from YouTube, hello. This is Richie. What's up? No, I understand, man. I understand. You keep chasing auditions because that's what's built into what we're what the whole, even actors. I mean, the idea is you continuously audition, right? But if you think about it, it is just a horrible way to leverage ourselves. Because we don't even get listened to half of the time. And if we do, it's just by one person. And we've spent as much time as it would have taken us to do a sample, which could be listened to by hundreds or thousands of people. So it's really quite different, all right, if you think about it in that way. Let's see. Ouch, yes. Switch, I'm a bit late, but here it's good to have you. You're ACX King. Well, thank you. You see, Emil, does Voquent actually work? Actually, I was working with one of my voiceover students earlier today, and he was telling me about he had just gotten a nice sized job from Voquent, in the last 2 days. So yes, it does work. And let's see, Zach. What's up, Zach? Good to have you. Flyer here. What's up? Eric, let's see. 80-20 is all throughout the business world. It works. Absolutely, Alan. Paul, all right, thanks. I didn't know that good Fiverr news yet. Yeah, I saw it earlier today, I think. Jim, awesome presentation. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it. You should put your book recommendations on your page. You're right. I absolutely need to, and I will do that. And I need to put them on my website too, because I have a bunch now of books that I've read and that really do guide me through a lot of the decisions I make now. And I really am a firm believer that educating yourself on an ongoing basis really makes a big difference. And you got to force yourself to make that time, because Lord knows we don't have it's funny. The more we stay home, it's like we should have all this extra time, but it's like it gets taken up by doing other stuff. So, but yes, absolutely. Thank you. I need to. Absolutely. All right, you guys. Well, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate all of you stopping by. As always, if you get an opportunity, please, if you haven't done yet, subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit that notification button so you know when I go live or post a video, because I'm starting to post videos as well as going live. Also, if you get an opportunity to like, share, retweet this. If you're on Twitter, share this or like it. If you're on Instagram, put it on your story. Also, we have an amazing group called Fiverr Elite Group. We meet every Saturday. I'd love for you to be a part of it. We're growing. I think we have over 55 people in that group now. It's absolutely amazing. We meet every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, where we talk about how to grow your Fiverr business. We use stats. This past Saturday was amazing. We did a bunch of different reviews for people's gigs. I offer that separately, but in the group, we do it there. Plus, we have a lot of resources, top-rated sellers in that group besides me, and it's all about helping each other get your business going on Fiverr. So you can find the link below in YouTube or on my webpage, vosjourney.com, avosjourney.com. All right, so enough for the shameless plug. You all have, do you schedule a reading every day? What does that mean? Anthony, are you reading every day? Do you schedule it? I'm not sure what you mean, Paul. I was going to say thank you for listening to my shameless plug about my stuff. I don't know, Paul. I don't know what you mean by are you reading every day? But I am definitely doing voiceovers every single day. As soon as I get off here, I've got about 8 voiceovers to do. Plus, I've got a couple more coaching calls today. So busy. And I'm super excited. Oh, am I reading books every day? Yes, I am definitely trying, Paul. Not as much as I would like, but today, I was spending some time reading as well in between things that I could. So definitely, I see what you're talking about. I try a lot, especially during time when, I have some downtime in the evening before I do coaching, and at night times I try to read as much as I can. And yeah, so fortunately, I've got like Kindle Unlimited, so I can get books there, and we have Audible. I pay for the subscription for Audible and stuff, so I have lots of different credits and things. So I try to read as much as I can. I wish it was more, but I had to make a conscious effort. And that's what I was telling you as well. You got to make a conscious effort to do this, because otherwise something else will take up our time. Again, this is that idea. It's so funny. It goes right back. It's like a natural law, the laws of nature. It's like a natural law. If you don't control your time, nature or something else will. You know what I mean? Someone else's plan will control your time if you don't come up with a plan to control your time. That's really, I guess that would be the lesson for all of this, right? You got to come up with a plan to control your time. And then in that plan, you want to focus on the top 4% of activities that are going to bring you that 64% of your revenue. All right. Well, that's it. You all have a wonderful Tuesday. I will see you and talk to you soon. The week goes on. As always, my heart, my prayers, my thoughts, and love and thanks go out to all of you and the frontline workers, as well as to your families and friends who have been touched by this horrible coronavirus. And thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon. Keep rocking it. Goodbye. Goodbye.